Hello, and welcome to the Carla Knits podcast. This is a podcast about knitting, crocheting, and always all of the yarny goodness that I love. If you are a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back. And if you're a new viewer, thank you so much for stopping by. I hope you like what you see here. Today is Thursday, March 17th when I'm recording, and it is this is episode 46. So you can find me as cbcraftygirl on Instagram, Ravelry, and Etsy for my project bags. And we do have a podcast group on Ravelry. And currently we have a very active make-along going on. This is a Love Your Stash mail, which started on January 1st and goes through the end of this year. And it is to use yarn that was in your stash prior to January 1st. And there are 270 some finished objects right now, ranging from shawls, sweaters, socks, hats, cowls, most recently bird houses. I thought this was very interesting. So within the last week or week or so, knitted and felted bird houses have been made, and they were just beautiful. So that was really fun to see those and to hear about that in the chatter. There's even more chatter going on. So I think I maybe shared this on the last episode. Every couple of days or 2 to 3 days, I go in and check, and sometimes I'm so surprised. I'll see 25 new posts. So I think that is so fun, and I do my best. I mean, I do read them all, and I don't respond to everything on there, but I do try to respond to some of the things, and it's just so much fun. So I think you guys are enjoying this. I know I am enjoying this, so thank you so much for making this make along so much fun. So if you're new to the make along, we'd love to have you join us using yarn that was in your stash prior to this year. And I will be drawing quarterly prizes. So that means in April, I will be drawing, this will be the first quarter that I will be drawing for. And I will draw one prize from the finished object thread and one prize from the chatter thread. So even if you haven't made anything, your chances are still there. If you want to chatter about things, comment on what other people are chattering about, that's all great in the chatter thread. So it just makes it really fun. So please do join in and continue working on those objects. So much fun using stash yarn. Let's see. Okay, I guess that covers all of the things I needed to talk about at the top of the episode. What I am wearing. So this is also finished object number 1 for today. I am so happy to have finished this. This is the Stashdance shawl by Susan Ashcroft. This was made with Yarn Bee Chloe in, let's see, the soft petals, I believe, colorway. This was a yarn that my parents had gifted me for Christmas. Hi, Mom, if you're watching. And this turned out so beautiful. Let me take it off real quick and show you. And hopefully you can see the beautiful texture there. And it's a fairly substantial length for a 2-skein shawl. Yeah. And hopefully, really hope you can see the texture. That's really what sold me on this shawl. Was I loved the texture that I was seeing. So the idea behind this was to use 2 different yarns to stripe, but because that yarn was self-changing, it had colors in it that were self-changing. I didn't use 2 different yarns. I just used the same yarn that I had 2 bowls for. So hopefully I'm okay. Back styled, not too crazy here, but very wearable. The tails come down long enough that I feel it's not gonna fall off of me. I could tie it underneath, and it's very, very cozy. This yarn is an acrylic yarn, and I did block it. It's curling a little bit, but I think it blocked really, really nice. And it is just the softest yarn. So it is really, really lovely. And I am really happy with this finished shawl. This is one of the projects off my personal Make 9. So I think that's two finished objects from my personal Make 9 this year. I had that, why can't I think of it? The sweater. The sweater that I talked about forever. Oh, the bean and olive sweater, of course. How could I forget that? It was with me for so long. And then this is the second item off of my Make 9 for the year. Let's see. I think that is it. So the two skeins, this was categorized as an Aran weight yarn. I didn't think it was that thick, but I guess I would have said between DK and light worsted, but that's okay. There were 270 yards per skein, so 540 yards, and I used almost all of it in its entirety. I didn't bring the little bit of remainder, but as I was coming to the bind off, I confess I was nervous that I might not have enough, but I did with a little bit of yarn to spare. So two of those skeins made this lovely shawl. I think this would be a good stash busting. Well, it's called Stash Buster shawl, right? No, Stashdance shawl. I'm just renaming the pattern, but it could be a very good for using up scraps and doing it. I think it just could be really fun. So I think there's lots of things you could do with it. So very happy with my first finished object. My only other finished object today is a dishcloth. So this is March's dishcloth. This I am doing a dishcloth a month following the kitchen sink shop. She has a club, I guess you'd call it maybe a club, a dishcloth club, where if you are signed up through her newsletter, you get the pattern emailed to you at the beginning of the month. This month is based on, I think, Emily's Star by Elizabeth Maud Montgomery, which I'm not familiar with that particular book by the author, but this is called Emily's Garden. And I used Peaches and Cream in the Sea Breeze color way. Brittany, I know when I watched your podcast, you were using that big cone of Sea Breeze, and that's what I have too, is this big cone of of this yarn. And I'm going to tell you, I really, really did not enjoy. I enjoyed the pattern, don't get me wrong. I think this is a lovely pattern and worked up in a little bit softer yarn and maybe a bigger needle. It would have been good. But the pattern called for a size 3, which is, I don't know, it was a little size 3 with this really tough yarn. Just, it was hard to work with and hard on the fingers. And you can see it's kind of a funky shape. It's definitely more rectangular than square. And I actually added a repeat or 2 in there. But it's a very functional dishcloth. I think it looks fine. But I kind of dread that I have that big cone of yarn left. So it probably will have to make its way this year through the dishcloths, because I am trying to work through stash, although I do feel my resolve crumbling a little bit. I'm still going to work through my stash, but you know, I'm so tempted to get some, you know, nicer dishcloth yarn to make these dishcloths with, just so it's not so hard on the hands. But anyway, the pattern is very lovely. And you can sign up through her Instagram profile. So it's the Kitchen Sink Shop on Instagram, and that will be linked down below. And I didn't say this at the beginning of the episode, but all of the places where you can find me and all of the things I talk about, patterns, will be linked in the show notes down below. And if for some reason I don't have something listed there, you can always reach out to me with a question or comment on Instagram or Ravelry. All right, so that's finished object number 2. On to whips. So of course we have some socks. I know it's been a couple weeks, so the last time we talked, this whip was just a cuff. So this is sock number 2 for this particular yarn. So this, I had just done the cuff. So I have worked down the leg. I have done the heel flap and gusset on this, and I have passed the decreases. So now I'm ready just to work down the foot. And this is going to be a Christmas sock for Jeff. Socks are seeming to take me a little bit longer, and maybe it's just because I'm working on so many different projects, but I guess I'm really thankful that I'm working through this sock early in the year, just because it seems like it's taking me a while to get through socks. I don't know. I guess my focus is just on some other things right now, or I just want to make all kinds of things. So I have to give love to all of my projects. But this isn't bad, considering some of the other things I've been working on. So my goal will be to get this done by the end of the month. I would like it done. It's been on my needles, is it since January or maybe February? I'd have to go back and look, but I would like it done by the end of this month for sure. The yarn, I'll tell you, is Bumblebee Acres Farm in the Outlander color, from the Outlander collection. It's in the Claire colorway. And yeah, there is some crazy pooling going on, but that's okay. So that is sock whip number 1, which leads me into sock whip number 2. Last time, I believe I had shown this sock as I showed the first sock as a half object, and I had not started the second one, but I did start the second sock of this. I have put in the heel, a German short row heel, which I really did enjoy doing that again. It had been several years since I've done a German short row heel, and that was actually really kind of fun. And I do like how it doesn't break up your striping sequence there. And I'm thinking now, if I had put that in the first sock, I wouldn't have the crazy pooling, but that's okay. That's okay. So I would say this is pretty good progress since I hadn't started this second sock. The yarn is Lollipop yarn in the Charisma colorway. It is a really soft yarn to work with. I'm really enjoying this, and I love the stripes. I think this is just such a fun colorway. Yeah, so I would also like this done by the end of March. So this is definitely my goal, to get both of my sock whips done, because I am anxious to cast on some other socks. Yeah, I really would like to cast on some other socks. So I know the Rose Opal Knits, hi ladies, if you're watching, they are hosting a scrappy sock make along that I'd really like to join in on. So if you're into making scrappy socks, you should go check them out. And it can just be 2 colors, even if you're using, main color and colors for your heels, toes, and cuffs or something. You can participate. So I'm kind of anxious to do that. So we'll see if I get these socks done. But that is my goal. And I realized today when I'm podcasting, it's March 17th. So happy St. Patrick's Day. I'm not wearing green right now, but does it count? I have lime green in my sock. I had to wear something that matched my shawl, so it was not green, and I didn't think green went with it. But it's March 17th already. This month is just going by so fast. I can't believe it. So still, being the 17th, I still would like to get both of my sock whips done by the end of March. That is my goal. So fingers crossed I can do that. If you want to send me some positive sock knitting vibes, that would be great. How are you guys doing with your sock knitting this year? Are you working on socks? All right, so those are my sock whips. Let's see. Oh, next, I'm a little this is a little different setup today. If you've been with me for a while, you notice I am sitting in a chair today. This is kind of cozy, but yeah, I got this chair for my yarn room, and I'm really excited to have this. This is actually really cozy. It just feels a little different podcasting in here, because usually I'm sitting in a chair and then I have a table in front of me, but I'm just sitting in this chair. It's kind of cozy, just talking to all my friends out there. So bear with me if this feels a little off today. I'm doing my best, just trying to get used to this right now, and I didn't podcast for 2 weeks, so it also feels a little off, but that's okay. My next work in progress whip is my Gnome. So last time I podcasted, you saw my Gnome's hat. This pattern is Oh Gnome You Didn't by Sarah Shira, and she has a number of gnome patterns that are just so cute. So I would encourage you to go check those out. And so I have the hat, and now I have the body with the 2 little pockets. So isn't that just the cutest thing? And there are going to be tassels that come here. There are going to be some arms that go into the pockets, and a nose, and a scarf. I have the scarf made. I didn't bring that over. I really am enjoying this. The body isn't finished yet because I am waiting on, it does have some stuffing in there, you can see, but I am also going to add polyfill pellets to it to give it some weight. And I did order some from Amazon, but they just have not come yet. Usually things come pretty fast, but for some reason, whatever this reason is, the product is just taking its time. So probably next week, it should be here by next week, and then I will fill it and continue down with the body. There's not too much more to go. Just need to get that filling in there. So maybe by the next time, this could be a finished object. We'll see. I'm talking about finishing a lot of things, so we'll see. But isn't this just the cutest thing? I just love it. And that hat is just so whimsical, and the little pockets. I will say the pattern is very, very good. There are a number of video tutorials in there that show you, anything that you might need, like picking up the pockets and knitting them on. So you actually picked up stitches from the body and knit the pockets on that way, and then seaming the pockets, how to do your hat, how to stuff a small toy or a small object. Just so many good tips. A whole tutorial on the tiny little tassels. So I will say this is a very, very well-written pattern, very easy to follow, and it gives you a lot of help with those video tutorials. The yarn was a kit by A Busy Life on Etsy. I liked the colors when I saw the kit, and that's why I got that. But you certainly could use, I'm sure a lot of you, like myself, have a lot of leftovers, excuse me, of fingering weight yarn. And so the combination of colors, the way you could do your gnome are just endless. So you certainly could, this is a good scrappy project using leftovers too. So yeah, really, really cute. All right, let's see. The next thing I am working on is a new cast on. So since I don't have my table in front of me, next to me I have an antique children's roll top desk that has been in my husband's family for many, many years. So it's big enough that I can just kind of set my projects on there. I don't have them all in project bags because then I definitely couldn't keep them all there, but it's easy enough to grab them to grab the projects that I'm working on from the desk. So this is a new cast on since last time. I did talk about that I had wanted to cast this on. This is the Kaiser, I assume that's how you say it, Kaiser Tea, K-A-I-S-A, Kaiser Tea by This Bird Knits. This is done in a fingering weight yarn. And when I looked, yeah, my cake is really kind of wonky. When I looked at the yarn, when I was editing the last podcast, it really looked very, very light. But hopefully you can see that. It's actually a very peachy pink color, and it has some gray speckles in it. I'm showing you the yarn, not the project. But I didn't think the camera did it really justice last time. And this is going to be hard to show, of course, because it's bunched up on my needles. But, gosh, this is hard. This little mess is a Kaiser Tea. So it's got a neckline, which I'm looking at that neckline. It's a little open for the neckline, so hopefully it doesn't block out too crazy big. No, it'll be okay, because it has a whole lace work. Maybe I'll just show this part. It has a whole lace section, so I'm going to be wearing like a tank or a camisole underneath this. So that'll be fine. So done in a fingering weight on a big needle. It is done on a US 8. I will say when I did my gauge swatch that, you know, I knit the gauge swatch and I blocked it and let it dry. And then when I measured my gauge, I would have needed to go up a needle size to get the gauge that they said in the pattern. But I liked the fabric that I got, and if I went up to a size 9, that would be really, really holy. Yeah, I don't know if I would have liked the fabric as much. So instead, I, with the help of my friend Joanne, trying to figure out if I should go up another size, did some math and did go up to a different size in the pattern to accommodate for my smaller gauge. So I am enjoying working on this. The lace pattern, I do have stitch markers between each repeat. When the first lace row started, I had to do it 3 times. I do not know why. I have done lace before, but for whatever reason, I just kept messing up. There's K2s in there, and there's K2 togethers, and then sometimes I would miss a K2, but I had to do it 3 times. But once I got through the first row, the stitch markers are in there. Now it is just fine. So very good lace pattern to work through. I just need to, this is not social knitting, so I don't take this to my knit group. This is, it could be TV knitting or podcast knitting, but again, there's the potential that I'll miss something in the pattern. So really it has to be quiet time knitting so I can just focus on the lace pattern. And that's fine. It's good to have projects for different things like sock knitting. Yeah, I can do that with watching TV and going to knit group. My knit group, they see my socks a lot because it's portable and it's easy to work on. You know, just a plain vanilla sock. But the yarn, I don't think I said what the yarn is. The yarn is, let's see, it's yarn B. So this is a Hobby Lobby yarn that I got last fall on one of my trips to Kearney to see my son Ryan. I stopped at his Hobby Lobby and I got this. This is, so Yarn B Authentic Hand Dyed Tonal. It's a fingering weight yarn and the color is Plush Blush. And I have 3 skeins of this. A lot of the sizes you could get by probably with just 2 skeins, but I definitely want to make it a little longer, probably. So I just wanted to have that 3rd skein just in case. So if I don't need to get into that third skein, that's fine. But I am planning on, I did plan for 3 skeins just to be on the safe side. So, you know, this is kind of an affordable option if you're interested in hand-dyed yarn. So Hobby Lobby, you know, when they have their yarns on sale, this would definitely be, you know, a fun purchase to get a sweater's quantity of some fun, you know, hand-dyed yarn. So I'm not putting a deadline on that sweater. I would like it to be for this spring sometime, and especially before our weather turns crazy hot. Like I know it will. At some point here in Nebraska it'll turn hot, but I think I have a couple months of time. You know, if I could get it done within a month and a half, or 2 months, I still would have a little bit of time maybe to wear that, since it's a short sleeve tee. And even in the summer, going to church, our church, you know, is pretty strong with the air conditioning, and I sometimes find that I have to even bring like a long sleeve sweater because the air conditioning is so cold. So I think I will be able to wear that hopefully when I get it done. All right, the last work in progress is also a new, it's not cast on, it's hooked on. So this is a crochet project. I'm calling this baby blanket number 2. If you've been here, you know that I made then you know that I made a baby blanket back in January. January, right? For my youngest brother and his wife, who are expecting twins. And at first I heard they were due in June. Then it was the end of May. And then my mom told me probably middle of May. So it keeps backing up. So I definitely want to get this done. But this goes really fast. I started this on Tuesday night this week, and I have this much done. So the yarn that I am using is Stylecraft Aran. Is it Stylecraft Special Aran? I think that's what it's called. So it's the same yarn I used the last time. I should tell you what the pattern is. It's Easy Textured Stripes Blanket by Lauren Brown. And I'm doing the same colors as the last, with the exception of this color. So in the last blanket, this color was a teal, and I'm hoping this shows up as navy. When I was crocheting on this last night, it looked so dark, and I really wish now that maybe I had chosen a lighter blue. I mean, not light blue, but maybe just a shade, a hair lighter than this. But I'm not gonna buy yarn because I already have this in my stash. And I had planned this, so I had purchased this before. You know, I purchased this in November or December, just preparing for knowing I was going to make these blankets. I will say this particular skein has been kind of a pain. In this row, this last row, 2 rows, there was a knot in 2 places. So, you know, I haven't woven in ends yet, so it's looking a little, you know, there's a lot of ends. But in 1 row of crochet, I came along and there was a knot, you know, where they joined the yarn, and then crocheted, you know, so I cut, I didn't want the knot in my crochet project, so I cut it and, you know, rejoined the same yarn, got to the end of the row, and there was another knot in the yarn. I mean, and that seems, I understand that there should be maybe 1, I would expect maybe 1 knot in the yarn, but 2 knots so close together, that wasn't very fun. So that was not very fun. So, but it just means, you know, more ends to weave in, which is fine. It kind of annoyed me, that's all. But for, you know, 2 days worth of work and not very consistent, you know, just a little bit of time here and there. I already made that much progress since Tuesday night. So this will go by quickly, I am assuming. And it's fun to have a crochet project back. You know, I've been doing a lot of knitting, and then the crochet, it's just fun to have a different thing to work on. I do like the speed with which crochet goes for me, and you see your project grow, you know, much faster than with knitting. So I am enjoying that, especially about this crochet project. So, but plenty of time if those babies come in May. I think that is just fine. So they are expecting twin boys. So late spring. All right. So those are my whips that I have been working on for the past couple of weeks. Let's see. I do have a little bit of stash enhancement. First, a couple of magazines, knitting magazines. I got this Vogue knitting. It's bright. I know. And it's for a very subdued pattern in here too, which is kind of funny. But these are the Obata socks by Kay Jones of the Bakery Bear. And I saw these socks on the Strings Attached podcast. Mallory, hi Mallory, and Frida. Mallory had made these socks, and they were so pretty. The texture just looked so pretty that I really wanted to do that. But the only way this pattern is available is through the knitting magazine. It's not available, as far as I know, as like an individual, you know, download on Ravelry. So I did purchase the Vogue Knitting magazine. So that is on my radar coming up sometime to try those fun textured socks. While perusing the Vogue Knitting magazines, this one caught my eye. I should tell you, I'm sorry, this Vogue Knitting magazine is fall 2021, if you're interested. This next one, it was the cover photo that got me. This is the holiday issue 2017, and that cover photo is what got me. I absolutely love that sweater. So I don't know if that will be in my future. It may be. Yeah, I just really liked that colorwork sweater. And then the last thing I ordered on Tuesday, and it came yesterday. So Lois, I know you said I could borrow yours at some point, but I just couldn't resist. And some of you may be familiar with this, Knitted Animal Friends. I was thinking Brenda on the Night Owl Fibers podcast. I think you may have this book too. But anyway, my friend Lois, who comes to our knit group, she made the dog on the cover, and he is just the cutest thing. And these are not small animals. I mean, this is a good, like, huggable size animal. I just wanted to hug that George dog. He was so cute. So there are 13 different animals, and the clothing is just so cute. So at some point I will be maybe working through one of these. I'm really anxious to give it a try. And while I was looking at this, the pattern designer, so this is by Louise Crowther. She has a new book coming out. It's available for pre-order on Amazon. So a second book of Animal Friends. So I think that'll be really fun. So had to have my own Lois. Just, yeah, I'm enjoying looking through and dreaming about all of the possibilities of what I could knit out of here. So those are some books and magazines. I confess I did buy some yarn too. I forgot to bring down the skeins. Yeah, that's okay. I forgot to bring something down. I bought 2 skeins, very inexpensive yarn, to knit a hat. Actually, I will talk about that though. No, I'll wait. Sorry, I'm kind of all over the place. This is just me this week. Candy Shop Yarns. This colorway, you can tell it's definitely a Carla colorway. It's called Circus Animal Cookies. Tiffany, I believe, of the Woolen Homestead had this skein of yarn, and when I saw it, I fell in love with it. And I had gone to, the shop on Etsy and didn't have any, but I noticed, within the last couple of weeks, I went back on there and she had some in her shop. So I was really excited. And doesn't that just look like those Circus Animal Cookies? Those colors are spot on. So that is a fingering weight yarn. It's an 80-20 blend. I just think that is really pretty. And then the other one I got is a DK weight sock set. This is called Cake Pop, but it also reminded me of those large jawbreakers with all those colors too. I thought that was really fun. So it reminded me of a couple different confections or sprinkled cupcakes. It could be that too. And I love the green mini that goes with it. So that's a DK weight, and that's a 75-25 blend. But I really fell in love with those things from Deborah's shop. So I got that. And then talking about the yarn that I forgot to bring down, I guess I'll go into upcoming knitting plans. So I have a couple hats that I would like to make. I know I shared on the last, I think 2 episodes, that I really would like to make that snow fern hat. I think that's by Kalura Hudson, and that is definitely still something I want to do. I finished this and I chose to start the crochet blanket. I thought, okay, if I finish this, then I can reward myself by starting something new. So I chose the blanket just because I know that needs to get done. That has a deadline for me. But 2 hats. So the snow fern hat is definitely one I want to make. And then the other is called, let's see, what is it called? Oh, Moon Dance hat. And that's by chattiness. That's Darcy. And that I'm going to insert a picture here. And this pattern, you can also include beads with it. And so I have never added beads to my knitting. So I'm really anxious to try that. So that is a hat I would like to cast on. Chit Chat Knits, that is the pink hat that I knit in February. That was a pattern that came out with proceeds for the American Heart Association. I can't think off, Pair of Hearts hat, maybe. And so this is the same designer who made the Moon Dance hat. So I'm really anxious to give that a try with adding beads in. And I do have a lot of beads here. I used to do a little bit of jewelry making, mostly bracelets. So I may have some beads on hand. Otherwise, I'll find something. And then something else that needs to be made very soon is a crochet project. If you remember back, I made a tiny unicorn crocheted cupcake. It was a sprinkly cupcake for my niece's birthday. Well, her sister has a birthday early April, and so I'm going to make another cupcake. But this one is called the Bunny Rabbit Strawberry Cupcake. I'll put a picture in here by Sweet Softies. So I'm going to try a different cupcake and hopefully I'm planning on using stash yarn. So hopefully I can come up with a cute combination to make that little cupcake for my other niece. All right, just a little bit of sewing news. I continue to be sewing bags for the Etsy shop, and I just thank you all from the bottom of my heart for all of your kind words, your encouragement. Those of you who have purchased bags and given, nice reviews, just thank you so very much. It just means the world to me. I really appreciate that. So I did put a couple bags in the shop last night. So both of these are the largest size that I have. And this one, I'm calling, let's see, Spring Floral Friends. So hopefully you can see the bunny and the squirrels on there. Yeah, this fabric just got me. I just think that is the sweetest thing. And I love the green floral. I love that green floral. And then on the inside, it's a pink and coral plaid. And it's always hard to show those pockets, but there is a pocket on the largest size of bag. So that is the Spring Floral Friends. And then this one I think I'm calling Modern Rainbow. So I just thought Modern Rainbow because it's not your typical colors. Yeah, not your typical colors, but I think this is a really fun print. And again, there's a pocket on the inside. I don't know how well you'll be able to see, except it's a coordinating heart print pocket on the inside. So that is the other print of for the large size. So again, thank you to all of you for all of your support. It really means a whole lot to me. So thank you guys. Just a little bit of chatter. I know you probably think you've been chattering long enough, Carla, but just since I've been gone for a couple weeks, we had spring break. Jeff and I had spring break from our jobs. We work at the college in the music department. So we had some time off. I enjoyed, spending some time with Jeff. We are starting to walk now that the weather is starting to get a little nicer. So going for walks, did some shopping, went out to lunch a couple times. I picked up this chair, which I was really excited about. We went to an antique mall near Omaha, Nebraska, and that was really fun. We both really enjoy going to different antique stores, so that was fun. I got to visit a friend who lives about 40 minutes away, and I had not seen her for about 4 years. The busyness of life sometimes gets in the way. That's what I'll say. So that was just wonderful. We spent about 5 hours just chatting away, catching up on everything in our lives. So that was really fun. I said the weather has turned nice. This week is just beautiful. Last week we got a little bit of snow, which if you've been here, you know that Carla really likes snow. I love snow. And we've just not had hardly any this winter. So even that little bit, which didn't amount to much at all, not even an inch, but it was white when I woke up in the morning, and it was just beautiful. So I really appreciated seeing the snow, even for just a little bit. But of course, it's gone now. This week, we've enjoyed temperatures in the 50s, 60s, and yesterday it was in the 70s. So, as much as I do like the snow, it is nice when that warmer weather, the spring weather starts coming and you can run out of the house without a coat. And have your windows open, windows down in the car. That's a really nice time of year too. Let's see, anything else? Played for a service in there, played organ for a church service. Yep, just trying to think. So just a lot of little things that added up to a busy couple of weeks. Now this weekend is going to be busy. Jenna has her musical. They're doing Willy Wonka, and she is an Oompa Loompa. She has told me no pictures, Mom, but I am going to get a picture for Grandma. I am going to get a picture. So 3 performances, and our son Ryan is coming home from Kearney, and then of course Aaron lives in the area, and his fiance Kelsey. So we'll all go to the show together this weekend, and have dinner out, and Jeff and I will go to another performance too. So we're really, really excited and looking forward to that. I think I have decided, I think I have decided that I will be going forward from here. I will be doing a podcast every 2 weeks. As much as I love talking about my knitting projects, and I do love this, and I love the interaction with you guys. Sometimes it's just hard doing it every week. I don't feel like maybe my progress is enough to share. And I really like having that window of time so that I feel like I have more that I can share, so that the content is still really interesting. You know, I just want it to be really interesting and not too repetitive. So going forward, I am going to do every 2 weeks. And so the next episode that I have will be in April, which means I will be drawing for those quarterly prizes on the next episode from our Love Your Stash make along. So that will be really fun. So if you liked this episode, please give me a thumbs up. If you haven't subscribed already, please consider doing so. I'd love to hear what you're working on right now, or how your weather is right now, or any fun things that you are up to. You know, I really enjoy, you know, reading those things in the comments, and I do my best to get back to you guys within a couple of days. I just think that's really fun, kind of chattering back and forth on YouTube or in the Ravelry group. That's super fun too. So, you know, if you'd like to join the Love Your Stash mail, please do so. And with that, I will say goodbye, and I'll see you again in a couple of weeks. So I hope you have a great couple of weeks and enjoy your crafting, whatever that may be. So see you real soon, guys. Take care.